On this episode of Falmouth in Focus, we visit the Cape Cod Fairgrounds, stop by Cape Cod Pride Day, and check out the last day of school. All this and much more on this episode of Falmouth in Focus.
Hello and welcome to Falmouth in Focus, FCTV's current affairs program. I'm your host, Michael Kasparian. The town has begun to address a localized sewer odor issue in the Falmouth Heights portion of the Little Pond Sewer Service area. Wastewater Superintendent Amy Lowell gives us a status update on the project and the new odor mitigating equipment being installed.
Hello, my name is Amy Lowell. I'm the Town of Falmouth's Wastewater Superintendent, and I've been asked to talk a bit about the Jericho Path odor control system that the town's going to be installing this spring. In August of last year, 2017, I was contacted about sewer odors that residents were observing. And we did a lot of investigating and determined ultimately that the odor there is a sewer odor that appears to be coming through the plumbing vents on the roofs of individual residences. And it was originating from a transition manhole. Odor problems do tend to come up occasionally in wastewater systems. It's not an unheard of thing. The town of Falmouth has had odor problems at various wastewater locations before, and we've been successful in resolving those. We had an odor problem at a Jones Palmer lift station over near the hospital lights a number of years ago, and we put in a biofilter at that location that has eliminated the odor we had at that property. We also had odor that arose over time at the Shiverix lift station, which is behind Main Street, and we put in a carbon filter system at that location a couple of years ago, and we have had no further odor problems there. What we've elected to do in this case is to install an unobtrusive carbon system underground north of Jericho Path between Worcester Court East and Worcester Court West. The carbon removes odor from the air just the way a Brita filter removes taste and odor from water. It's the exact same system. So yesterday the town's contractor excavated here, and today they've installed the vault and the hatches. In the next couple of weeks they'll be installing a carbon unit and a vacuum blower that will extract air from the sewer manhole out in the street and treat it by running it through carbon. It's a simple system that has worked all over the world. When the project is complete, what you'll be able to see on the surface is this hatch and an access way, a small vent pipe, and an electrical panel. The area will be restored, revegetated, and that'll be it.
When complete, the system is expected to eliminate the odor problem at that location. Thanks to Andrew Richards for shedding light on this important project. In this next piece, we visit the Falmouth Commodores at Gov Fuller Field for a look at how this season is going with our home team.
Hey there, Commodores fans. I'm David Korzanowski, joined alongside my broadcast partner, Danny LaRose. We are the voice of the Falmouth Commodores for the 2018 summer. Happy to bring you this June recap for FCTV. We're going to start things off, Danny, with the first 4 games. Falmouth was 2-2 and had a couple impressive wins.
Yeah, obviously at 2-2, couldn't really gauge how the team was going to perform, only playing .500 baseball. However, 2 really impressive wins, like you said, a 10-4 victory over Hyannis on opening night, and then an 8-0 victory a couple games later over the Yarmouth-Dennis Red Sox, in which they scored 8 runs on 12 hits and only allowed 4. But then things got a little fishy.
I'm here with left-handed pitcher Mitchell Miller, and Mitchell, this is your second year here on the Cape League, and it's about 3 weeks into the season. What have you seen from this team, and what are you looking forward to for the rest of the summer?
Oh, well, I mean, it's big. Summer ball is a big time where the biggest thing to be successful is actually like a team chemistry. And I think we struggled at the beginning of the year because we didn't have a great team chemistry, and then we started hanging out more, and that's when we went on the winning streak. And I think we got a great group of guys who are a lot of fun, and we have a lot of fun as a team. And I think the rest, as the summer goes on, we're going to get closer, and we're just going to keep doing what we've been doing the last 10 games.
I think it's been obvious for us too, to notice that you guys have gotten really close. Was there a moment, whether it was, a certain game or something where the team kind of started gelling?
Yeah, there was a certain moment where the team started gelling. One night after the game, we all went and hung out, and we just had a good time together, and ever since then, it was just kind of like we know each other to a certain extent better than we did, and now we can just joke around, and it's a lot more loose out here than it was. Everybody was trying too hard, and now it's just fun.
And now for you personally, this summer you have come out of the bullpen more exclusively, and you said to me earlier this year that you had some bullets in the tank, a lot of pitches to throw.
Oh, yeah.
How do you feel your performance has been thus far, and what do you want to get from the rest of the summer?
I think my first 2 outings were a little shaky. I think I was just knocking some rust off because I hadn't thrown in so long, but I think I've started to get back on the feel of things, and I think I'm looking forward to the rest of the summer and just keep working on my game and getting as best as I can and just help us win whatever I can do.
All right, Mitchell, thank you so much. For Mitchell Miller, I'm Greg Levinsky. We'll send it back to you guys upstairs.
Thanks a lot, Greg. And as Danny alluded to, things got a little bit fishy after that 2-2 start. The Falmouth Commodores dropped 6 straight and really struggled at the plate.
Yeah, it was tough to watch for most of those 6 games, in which the Commodores scored only 5 runs through 51 innings played and struck out 61 times through those 6 games played. But the pitching on the bright side was really good. They allowed only 2 runs in a 2-1 loss, a walk-off loss against the Hyannis Harbor Hawks, and then allowed only 1 run in a 1-0 loss against the Yarmouth Dennis Red Sox. So the pitching was great, but just goes to show how poor the hitting actually was in that 6-game skid.
Yeah, little run support from the Falmouth Commodores. The most runs they notched up during that 6-game skid was 2. And as my partner alluded to, they got shut out twice, once against the Yarmouth Dennis Red Sox in a 1-0 loss. Then they lost 8-0 to the Harwich Mariners. But things started to turn around. And after the last game in June against the Bourne Braves, Falmouth has a few East Division opponents on the docket. They'll play Brewster, Chatham, and Orleans. Also, they got Cotuit coming up a couple times, as well as a trip to Wareham to face on the Gatemen. So that'll do it for this June recap for FCTV. For my partner, Danny LaRose, I'm David Korzanowski. We'll see you in July.
Thanks to Eliza Laycock for that coverage. Turn to fctv.org for a full list of home games being covered by FCTV. It's time now for 3 things from Town Hall, FCTV's condensed version of the takeaways from recent municipal meetings. Selections are chosen based on community impact.
The Planning Board has been working closely with the Cape Cod Commission to come up with designs for a new multifamily district in the Davis Straits area in Falmouth. The Cape Cod Commission is working with an outside firm to help conceptualize designs for this area. Meanwhile, the Planning Board is discussing and drawing their own conclusions on how they would like this area to look and feel in the future.
It will be really helpful to them if we take pictures of what we think would be really good forms for Falmouth.
Specific to Davis Straits, I want to remind everybody we have 2 different visions. There's a primary road and secondary roads.
Right.
And the buildings are different on them if you think about that. So don't make sure
That's
when
right.
you make your recommendation, this should be on Davis Straits and
this should be on
this would be on one of the side roads.
Right.
Exactly.
The Planning Board also discussed at their last meeting some potential zoning changes to be introduced for the fall 2018 town meeting. Town Planner Thomas Bott laid out the timing and schedules needed for such changes to zoning, knowing that there needs to be coordination between the Planning Board and the Zoning Board to place an article on the 2018 fall town meeting warrant.
One of the things that I had asked about was hearing from the board on any zoning articles that we have talked about previously that we would like to see at the fall town meeting. On my short list, I have, believe it or not, accessory housing bylaw, the discussions we've had about site plan review. We will have a coastal pond overlay map. This is changes in the mapping through the Cape Cod Commission as part of this, our whole nitrogen strategy. We anticipate that the warrant is typically closed the Friday after Labor Day, right around Labor Day. So those things that we want to present for a town meeting, that would be our deadline for that.
Deputy Director of Public Works Peter McConerty addressed the selectmen in a recent meeting regarding the town-wide crosswalk uniformity work. Mr. McConerty reported the many and varied sizes and styles of crosswalks in Falmouth and how it may be confusing to pedestrians and motorists. Mr. McConerty introduced the plan for a white-black ladder crosswalk design, citing safety reasons and regulations for uniformity in Falmouth.
It's going to look like a ladder. We've been doing a few of them in town. If you go over to Depot Ave, the bikeway crossing across from the, right adjacent to the Falmouth Enterprise, there's a few on Main Street, there's a few out in the eastern, out in East Falmouth. If you go out and you look at these crosswalks, you will see there is a contrast between, you have the white and then you have the black, and then the white and the black going across the street. It's powerful, sticks out at nighttime, sticks out during the day. So what we're trying to do is make a constant width and the same exact crosswalk at all locations throughout town.
To see the meetings in their entirety, check out Government Channel 15's program schedule at fctv.org. Now we move on to this month's calendar segment. On Wednesday, July 11th, from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., the Falmouth Village Association will hold a professional arts and crafts street fair featuring over 200 artisans and arts and crafts vendors on Main Street from the Village Green to Shore Street. The Barnstable County Fair begins July 23rd at the Cape Cod Fairgrounds. The fair is a Cape Cod family tradition for over 170 years, which features live music and other performances, amusement park rides, games, animal shows, a petting zoo, and more. The 27th Annual Woods Hole Film Festival begins on July 28th. This year, they'll present over 130 films from around the world during the 8-day festival. And this month at the Mazer, paintings by Cricket George and wood turning and carving by Susan Beardsley, Bob Beardsley, Michael Grady, Robin McIntyre, Toby Lorenzen, and Gary Tabor are on display. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll learn about an adoptable cat from People for Cats. Stay with us.
Pickles is a handsome domestic long-hair male. He's 4 years old and has a striking coat of orange fur accented by generous amounts of white around his muzzle, neck, bib, paws, and boots. He also has expressive, big, amber-colored eyes. Pickles came to PFC when his owners moved and could not take their pets. He is quite a feisty boy, and we're looking for an adopter who has a fair amount of experience with difficult kitties. He's friendly one minute and strikes out the next with little or no warning. Then shortly later, he's rubbing up against you, saying hi. He does like attention, but obviously on his terms. In his previous situation, he was shot with a BB gun and got cuts on his paws, but that's all healed, and now he's looking for a forever home of his own. If you're looking for a feisty, handsome orange kitty of your own, why not come and meet Pickles? Please call People for Cats at 508-540-5654 or come by the shelter during operating hours.
Welcome back. In this next piece, we check in with the Cape Cod Kennel Club, who recently conducted their agility trials at the Cape Cod Fairgrounds.
Okay, so this is our Cape Cod Kennel Club agility trial. We hold 2 trials a year, one being here at the fairgrounds in June. It's a 3-day show. Dogs of all sizes, breeds, ages, as well as handlers of all ages are here. Basically, they spend a lot of time training their dogs, teaching them all the different obstacles in the courses.
Today the dogs are running 2 different types of courses. The courses are designed by the judges. They're always different every time you come to a trial, so the dogs and handlers have not seen these courses before. And the 2 different types we have one that's called standard, and the dogs do seesaws and go over A-frames, run over a high dog walk. And the class that's getting ready to start right now is our jumpers class. And in that class they've got jumps and tunnels and weave poles, which look like a slalom when you see the dog going through them.
Woo! Good boy! Good boy!
I've been doing agility competing for about 18 years. I'm an AKC agility judge. So this little guy came from England, and he's a English Cocker, field-bred English Cocker, whose parents have shown at Crufts. His breeder is just an awesome handler. So anyway, what do I do for training? I basically train with Terry Arnold, who's a world team top handler in East Freetown, Massachusetts. We train a couple times a week, and then each night just to do a little activity just to keep it going.
Today, but I believe that we have about 280 entries, so that's approximately 100 dogs are here this weekend. A lot are from the Cape, but you've got a lot that have come over from the other part of Massachusetts, but we've got people from Pennsylvania and New York and Rhode Island that have come over for this show.
Thanks to Sam Newman for that coverage. In this next segment, we visit the Cape Cod Pride Festival, which was held June 24th at Falmouth High School. The festival gave members of the Cape Cod LGBTQ community a chance to connect, enjoy music and speakers, and learn about available services.
Hi, my name is Sue Wilson. I'm president of Cape Cod Pride. This is actually the third year for the Cape Cod Pride Festival. When we interviewed people last year, the consistent feedback we got was that there were a lot of LGBTQ folks who live on the Cape, but very difficult for them to connect with each other. So that's what Cape Cod Pride hopes to do, and we hope to do it by holding an all-Cape festival every June and by doing LGBTQ community development by region all year round.
This event particularly has been planned for about 7 months now, reaching out to everyone in the community, not just the young, but the senior LGBT community, as well as the folks up on the Cape, Provincetown, Yarmouth, Falmouth, bringing together all the generations of the LGBT community and their supporters.
I am so proud all these years that we have fought for LGBTQ rights in the whole world, that here we are doing things like this with Pride. And look at this, children, babies, young people, mothers, fathers, never saw that. And to me, I'm so proud about this, because the year that we fought Stonewall and all, this was not there. But I think the guys who have all passed away, that we've lost through the years, would be so proud to see not only this too, but how we are fighting for all our rights.
This is a true celebration of who we are as a community. And in today's country in particular, it's so important that we understand it's who we are, not what label might be attached to people and what division might occur. It's a togetherness day today here in Falmouth.
I'll carry your burden. I'll speak up for you. I'll act on your behalf. My Muslim brothers, my prostitute sisters, my immigrant children, my world family of differently abled, struggling to be stable, unfairly labeled with N-words and C-words and hate. Michael Jackson was right. We are the world, and I will take my place in it, all that I am, just as I am. Thank you.
Thanks to Tony Sedera for that segment. At the recent Disability Wellness Fair, which took place at the Gus Canty Center, organizations had an opportunity to showcase services and products designed to improve the quality of life for the disabled.
Well, we're having the event itself, the Wellness Fair, from 10 to 4, and the wheelchair obstacle course is from 12 to 3. The whole idea was that we want to bring vendors and people who had different services that the disabled could benefit from that didn't know they were out there, or their caregivers or their family members, so that they can meet in one place. Plus, hopefully people will meet each other and maybe make a friend. You know, it's a big world out there, and there's a lot of people in Falmouth who are disabled that don't come out. And so we want to bring people together and to have them see what services and vendors and things, like you see all these people. They all have something that the disabled can benefit from, and that was the point.
Yeah, it's always a great way to get out there and just meet your community partners, other agencies providing similar services to help identify gaps in coverage, things that people need. So it's a really good opportunity to get out there and build the community.
The disabled are out there. The obstacle course, I'm hoping, will bring awareness that there are obstacles in life, and that the disabled face obstacles on the streets, the curb cuts, the sidewalks, things like that. But anybody else, everybody's got an obstacle of some kind. And if they can maneuver that course and get through and do all the things, it's like a life experience. You can get through anything.
My name is Owen Smith. I'm with Boy Scout Troop 40 here in Falmouth. So I actually built the wooden obstacle course pieces you see behind me for my Eagle Scout project. I think we did a great job. You know, I'm glad we were able to help so much with this, because I know it's a big deal for this group of people who put this together. And I'm just glad I was able to be a part of it. So the obstacle course is to show what it's like to live in a wheelchair, or if you are living in a life where you have to use a wheelchair. It's supposed to show some of the daily obstacles you face, uneven grounds, slope grounds, going through crowds of people and being a little lower than them. So it's really just supposed to show and bring awareness to what some people have to live with, and at the same time bring some fun to it.
That's what it's sort of about. Having people realize they can live a full life despite a disability or a challenge. I mean, I put this together. I never thought I would ever be able to do something like this.
Thank you to Eliza Laycock for that report. We're going to take another break, and when we come back, we'll check in with contributor Troy Clarkson. Stay with us.
When small crafts such as kayaks or canoes are found adrift, typically there's no way of determining whether or not individuals may be in distress. In situations like this, having timely access to some basic information can make all the difference between exhausting valuable search and rescue resources and saving a life. The Paddle Smart Weatherproof sticker, when it's properly filled out using permanent waterproof marker and appropriately applied to a small craft, can help the Coast Guard find you or a loved one in the event of a maritime emergency, possibly saving a life. It may also reduce resources expended and spare rescue crews from being put needlessly at risk during non-emergency situations, or it could just help you find your lost kayak. So before you get out on the water, take a minute to place a properly filled out Paddle Smart sticker on your paddlecraft, and remember to always wear your life jacket. Welcome back. This week, Troy Clarkson attends the Belonging to Each Other benefit concert at St. Barnabas Church. Here's Troy's take.
Thank you, Michael. You know, shelter comes in many forms, and sometimes people's lives' journeys take them in places they didn't expect it, sometimes under the shelter of a tree like this. And there are many people here in our town of Falmouth that struggle with homelessness and an inability to have the basics of shelter and food on a daily basis. Well, a couple of years ago, a group was formed called Belonging to Each Other. Many of the folks involved had been working on homelessness issues for many years, but formalized and formed this group. Well, today, here in Falmouth at St. Barnabas Church, the folks in Belonging to Each Other came together with the community to raise money for their wonderful efforts, and we had the opportunity to talk to some of them tonight. So Norma, as a board member and somebody who's very involved with the great works of Belonging to Each Other, what does it mean to you that so many people from the community came out to support your efforts tonight?
Oh, it's been amazing. Obviously, I think we're a wonderful, worthwhile organization, and for the fact that our town comes out and supports us has been, I'll repeat, amazing. We need the support of the town in order to continue our work of providing housing for Falmouth's homeless over the winter months.
So we were chatting a minute ago about the fact that people from diverse backgrounds and diverse faiths come together in Belonging to Each Other to really support what's an important issue.
Absolutely, and it's not just an important issue here, but across the country. But what is really, I think, unique here in Falmouth is these people from different backgrounds, with different approaches, with different faiths, who have decided to address an issue here in town. And we come together and we give time and treasure, and I think possibly most importantly, love.
So David, as our state representative, you deal with multiple issues. I have to believe that homelessness is right up there and one of the most important issues.
Yeah, you know, when we started working to pull together the group that founded Belonging to Each Other, it was an issue that we were seeing here and there in the community, and then finding that many residents of Falmouth that had found themselves homeless were seeking assistance in Barnstable and Hyannis and other communities. And by bringing this group together in Falmouth, it's an opportunity for folks in Falmouth to care for folks in Falmouth.
And because after all, we all belong to each other, and people of different persuasions and faiths are all coming together to support this. And that's probably the most wonderful and remarkable thing about this effort.
Yeah, I think one of the important things to think about, regardless of a faith tradition where folks start from, is that there's a basic sense of humanity. And regardless of what faith tradition you come from, there's a value in human life, and there's a value in giving back. And so by tapping those values, belonging to each other was able to really flourish over the last 3 years, and to help other individuals flourish that have found themselves in hard times.
So you deal with lots of issues, sometimes some difficult issues, Sue, in Town Hall, but it's got to be easy to come together and support an organization like this when you see people from all walks of life just coming together to provide, as David said, hope and humanity for our neighbors and friends.
And the name of the organization, Belonging, it really comes home because every one of us is really just an inch away, a financial mistake, a health issue, really an inch away from needing help. And so the fact that the community comes together and opens itself financially and humanly with their heart to help folks feel a part of the community, know that, there but for go I is the true heart of Falmouth, and folks here giving so generously, I had to come and support it and show that, the community and the town of Falmouth is really in support of this organization.
What a powerful example of generosity, of spirit, of finances, of volunteerism in our community that we saw at Belonging to Each Other tonight. Sometimes things come full circle, so we're back here at our closing at the very same tree we were at the beginning of our visit with Belonging to Each Other. Because here on Troy's Take on Falmouth in Focus, one of our first segments a couple of years ago was visiting a homeless camp here in Falmouth with Paul Rifkin, someone who has been a tireless volunteer supporting many good causes in our town. So here we are back again in the same spot.
Belonging to Each Other is a Falmouth organization that provides temporary housing and support to the homeless during the winter months. Thank you, Troy, for that piece. June 22nd was the last day of school for most students in the Falmouth Public Schools. We spoke to a few of them about what they'll be doing over vacation.
Well, this summer I'm going to Boy Scout Summer Camp Yagu for a week. I am going to Port Charlotte, Florida to visit my grandparents, and we're going to go to a lot of beaches and restaurants and stuff. That's going to be pretty cool. In August, I am going to Michigan to visit some of my cousins.
I'm going over to my friend's house 2 times a week. I'm probably going to hang out at the pool a lot. I'm going to be having acting camp for 4 weeks, and I'm also doing gymnastics. I'm going to be reading during the summer, a lot of reading. I'm going to be going to the beach a lot, just to relax. What I'm going to be doing over the summer is I'm going to be going to Germany. And in Germany, I'm going to be going to a German school, and I'm going to try to make friends. And I think I'm gonna have so much fun.
Thank you to Ryan Weber for that report. FCTV wants you to know that television can be as easy as hitting record on your smartphone. We'd like to invite all Falmouth residents and visitors to share their slice of life with us. Email us your photos and videos or upload them to Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram using the hashtag MyFalmouth or Falmouth in Focus to be featured on the show. Thank you to our most recent contributors. We leave you now with the sights and sounds of the 4th of July in Falmouth. Thanks for watching Falmouth in Focus. We'll see you next time.